In this module, we'll talk about Ubuntu development code names, and we'll also take our first steps in the terminal program. Now, starting off, let's talk about the development code names. What are they? Well, all versions of Ubuntu have a development code name. In the first version of Ubuntu 4.10, the code name was Warty Warthog. This was apparently an inside joke between the developers who said that the first release of Ubuntu wouldn't be very polished. That is to say, it would have a lot of warts, it would have a lot of flaws. And so they joked that that first version should be called the Warty Warthog release. Well, in fact, it was called the Warty Warthog release. Ubuntu 4.10 was codenamed Warty Warthog. Now, you'll often hear in Ubuntu circles, people will simply name the adjective. So they'll say, I'm running Ubuntu Warty. They won't bother saying Warthog. So I'm running Ubuntu Warty, and that would let people know that they're running version 4.10. Sometimes you'll even hear them together. I'm running Ubuntu 4.10 Warty, or Ubuntu 4 Warty. Now, getting a little bit closer to modern times here, we can look at Precise Pangolin. This was the first release that really dived into the Unity interface. It took some big steps forward. And so this is when a lot of people started checking out Ubuntu for the first time with Precise Pangolin. So people might say, I'm running Ubuntu 12 Precise. Or they could say, I'm running Ubuntu Precise. Of course, you could say you're running Ubuntu Precise Pangolin 12.04 LTS, but that's a bit of a mouthful. Now, this might seem like useless history, just random trivia that you don't need to know. But in fact, when we start delving into package management and installing software, it becomes important for you to understand the code name of your operating system. It's not absolutely essential for new users, but it's a good idea that you understand we'll be running Ubuntu 14.04 LTS Trusty Tear, also simply known as Trusty. Now, for whatever reason, Ubuntu has decided that on the About This Computer option, which you can reach in the upper right-hand corner by clicking on the Power button, they won't list the code name here in the graphical user interface. I think that's a failure on the part of Ubuntu's team, since they're still tied to these code names, and users really need to know the code name of the operating system they're running. For whatever reason, it's not available here as I think it should be. Instead, we'll need to dive into the terminal and run this command, lsb_release, and then a space, dash or hyphen A. Let's go to the terminal now. Remember, I asked you to put the terminal on your launcher. If you don't have the terminal on your launcher, you can type terminal here to access the program. And again, if it's not on your launcher, I would ask that you would please click and drag that over to your launcher for easy access. So open up the terminal and you'll be greeted with a new window where we can connect using a command line interface to the computer itself. Now remember the command that we're going to be running, lsb_release-a. Let's bring up our terminal here and type in lsb_release, then a hyphen and A. Now we'll hit the Enter key and we'll be greeted with some information about our system. In particular, we're given the code name, which is Trusty. We know from our list over here in Firefox that Ubuntu 14.04 LTS is fully codenamed Trusty Tear. However, as I told you many times, people will simply refer to the first adjective in order to identify the particular version of Ubuntu that they're running. So now you know that you're running Ubuntu Trusty. That is Ubuntu 14.04 Trusty Tear. And that is an LTS build, which, if you'll remember, means it's a long-term support build.